Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in to Leaders Lead, Winners Win, a podcast all about leadership. It's a little bit about sales, a little bit about life. And look, real quick, if you haven't subscribed and you're watching already, your friends are, do me a favor, subscribe and share. And if you haven't followed me already, I'm pretty fun on Instagram, Producer Rob, Pastor Rob, as we like to call him. Pretty fun on Instagram. I post these walk thoughts, post some cool stuff. I own a mortgage company, so you might learn a little bit there. But it's at Mr. Cody Adams. I'm just going to put my hands like this, and you'll see it. But today I want to talk a little bit about, leadership, but I want to talk a little bit about burnout. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a concept called 168 that you should be able to share, which is exciting. It's an exciting time. Before I do so, though, right now, as it sits in 2022, we need leaders more than ever. And I want you to know, and I'm going to share something with you. It's a little secret. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody. This is like a Biden thing. He does this. You're a leader. You're a leader. You are. You are a leader. You're a leader. If you're a father, you're a leader. If you're a mother, you're a leader. If you are a human being breathing, you're a leader. If you take out the trash, you're a leader. Every single person on this planet is a leader. I want you to envision something, as I just told you, a little secret. Imagine a world where every single human being is leading themselves and their families to success. Whatever success is defined by you. Well, it doesn't matter if it's monetary or if it's a great relationship or whatever the case is. Just imagine if every single human being was a leader and leading in their community and leading in their family and leading at work and so on and so forth. We'd have an incredible day. But you might say, well, Cody, there has to be roles in this world. To be a leader, you need followers. You're right. However, I'd rather live in a world full of leaders than a world full of followers, which is what we have right now. Right now, we have folks that read a headline and ultimately follow, that hear something and ultimately believe it at face value. And we just have and you are all just sheep. And it's sad. It's sad to see the media, and it's sad to see so many people just manipulate your emotion and you not be able to dictate whether you should be believing something or not, or emotional about something or not. And it's really sad. And we need leaders. We need people with voices to stand up. And I'll tell you something about leadership. And again, I'm talking about burnout today. I'm going to tell you about burnout and this concept on time management, but it's heavy on my heart to share this with you. I'll tell you that it's not easy being a leader, but it's needed. You have to tell the truth even when your voice shakes. You have to give feedback even though you don't want to. You're going to be hated even though you're doing the right thing. The funny thing about leadership is that even if 50% of the people agree with you, the other 50%, they hate you. And that's something you're going to have to be able to live with. For example, you could be leading your family on a whitewater rafting. Robbie, like this? A whitewater rafting. And you could be leading and saying, hey, we need to go this way. And you know what the other person's going to say? Maybe like your uncle or your brother. They're going to say, no, let's go this way. And you have to coerce and convince them that your way's the right way. And that takes a little bit of patience. It takes you to be logical and not emotional. And it takes you to do your research. So anyways, I know I just riffed a little bit for 3 minutes or 4 minutes on leadership, but we need leaders more than ever. I'm going to continue to say it, and I hope that this sparks something in you to lead your family, lead your community, or lead your place of work. Burnout. I hear all the time, these soft people. I'm so burnt out. No, you're not burnt out. You're lacking vocabulary. You're not burnt out. Here's what you are. You're misaligned. Your core values, who you are as a human being. One, if you haven't found them, maybe, Rob, we can send a link out. We'll put a link in here to a core values worksheet. There's a core values worksheet. It's right here. There's a core values worksheet that I'll send to you. And you just pick 10 of them, and you write those 10, or you circle those 10. And those are your core values. And those things can change, but your core values are misaligned with the work that you're doing. So, for example, if you're an insurance salesperson, this is about sales and leadership. You're an insurance salesperson, and that, selling insurance doesn't light you up because it doesn't align with the core values they have. Maybe your core values are ambitious, being ambitious. Maybe your core values are aggressiveness. Maybe your core values are I don't know. I can kind of go on and on, but my point is burnout is typically just a misalignment between the values that you have, the core values, and the work that you do. Long hours, folks, should light you up. They light me up right now. Every single day I get up and I can't wait to get into the office. So much so that the things that I cared about for the last 6 months, those things like working out and all these other things that I've developed as I was developing a company, I've put by the wayside. Thank God that I have the self-awareness to catch myself and realize that that's not something I should be doing. I should be doing both and creating balance and so on and so forth. But I'll talk about balance in a second. There's not really a thing. It's just work and life. And it's all mixed together in this thing called life. We'll talk about that in a second. But it should light you up. And I had to say, hey, hold on a second. I can work 7 to 7, but I got to get back to my core values. And one of my core values is health. And I wasn't being healthy. I was drinking and eating and not working out. And those are things that aren't aligned with my core values. And I felt tired, very tired. I didn't want to I was just exhausted. I got home and all I wanted to do was sleep. So I had to remind myself of those things. But long hours should light you up if it's connected from your core values and your work, the work that you're doing with your hands. So maybe thinking, well, Cody, I'm stuck, man. I got to do what I got to do. I got to make my bills. It's inflation. It's gas prices. It's this and that. I got to do what I got to do. I completely understand. But there's time in the day for you to connect to your purpose. There's time in the day for you to connect to the things that you want to do. There's things you need to do, like work to pay the bills. And then there's things that you want to do, but you throw away the want because the need takes too damn long during the day. I'm going to show you how to go through that in just a second. People always say like, well, you'll never get burnt out if you know your why. Well, your why can change, and your why is something that's abstract, and your why gets lost in the day-to-day. It's just the truth. Purpose and why to me are a little bit different. See, your purpose is something that either finds you or you find it. And there's no time limit. Just because you might be 45 years old listening to this and you're like, I don't know what my purpose is. That's okay. It'll find you or you'll find it. One way or the other, you just got to keep searching. Don't give up on searching. Key point, don't give up on searching. Well, how do I do that? Well, think about and sit down for a second. I want you to just do an exercise for me, okay? I want you to sit down. I want you to really think about the things that light you up, the stuff that makes you excited, the stuff that gets you absolutely jacked up. One of mine, honestly, is this. I love being in front of this camera. I love talking to you guys. I love sharing experiences. I'm not perfect. I'm just sharing the things that I know, because the things that I know, I might be just a little bit further down the road than you are. And if I can save you time for you to catch up to me, good. That's what I want. I want to give you my playbook so you can kick my ass with it. So that's literally what I'm doing. This lights me up. So I want you to sit with yourself and think about what lights me up. What are things that if I do them, I get super excited, and write them down. And then try and do 1 or 2 of those things a day. And ultimately, if you do that, time in and time out, you're going to find your purpose. And if you connect with your purpose, okay, connect with your purpose, and your purpose connects with your core values, guess what, guys? You got yourself a little business. You just got to figure out how to monetize it. Again, if you connect with your purpose, okay, whether you find it or it finds you, it aligns with your core values, the things that you hold true, near and dear to your heart, no matter what, you got a business. You just got to figure out how to monetize it. Hit me up. I'll help you out. So burnout, connection, purpose, misalignment between work and your values, all these things. And these sound like a lot of catchphrases and a lot of different, one-liners and all this stuff, but it's all the truth. And it might sound like ooey gooey bullshit, but it's not. It's all real. I'm going to give you something practical. Those are philosophies. Let me give you some practical stuff. So I came up with this concept of 168 or 168, and it's through really chatting with some of the most successful people that graced this earth. I hear so many folks say, I want balance in my life. Please, I just need balance. I need to figure out how to spin all these plates. Well, first thing I want to tell you is you ain't spinning that many plates. There's a difference between being busy and productive, and you're probably just busy. It's just the truth. You're spinning all these plates. You think you got to do all these things. You think that you got to ultimately do this by a certain time, but you don't realize that time's just a social construct, which could be a whole nother podcast, Rob. Time is a social construct, which is the truth. In all reality, you have time to get it done. You're just not prioritizing things the right way. So I came up with this concept talking with successful people. I'm not talking about the mortgage industry or this, or I'm talking about in the world. And what I noticed about these folks is that just like them, I have the same amount of time in a week. And if you, for those you aficionados that know time and understand how weeks work, 24 times 7, 168. Can't make it up. So the concept's called 168. They have the same amount of hours in the week that I do. They're no smarter than I do. They're just prioritizing their time differently and better than I am. And they're doing their research and they're making sure that they add value wherever they are. Check. So if they have 168 hours, I have 168 hours. That means I can do what they do. I'm just going to be able to do it better if I align my time the right way. So how do I do that? Here's how you do it. It's super easy, guys. Realize that you're going to sleep. Unless you're a weirdo. Some of you guys are weirdos, for real. I'm serious. Unless you're a weirdo, you probably sleep somewhere around 7 hours a night. 7 times 7 is 49. Rob, how about we round up to 50? You cool with that, buddy? Yeah. All right. Round up to 50, okay? You're going to sleep 50 hours a week. No matter what you do, you're going to sleep somewhere around 50 hours a week. So you take it's a simple math problem, okay? 168 minus 50, you end up with 118. Boom, check. I'm going to work unless, you got a little sugar mama, you know what I'm saying? Or you got a sugar daddy, or you got some inheritance or some shit. I don't know. But you're going to probably work 50 hours a week. No shit, Rob. You're going to work 50 hours a week. So you're going to sleep and you're going to work. Tell me you're not. Those are two things you're going to do. You need to make money to survive and you need to sleep to survive. It is like, period. That's what's going to happen. Okay. So you come up with a number, 118 minus 50, you got 68 hours. What if I told you that what you do with those 68 hours determines the quality of your life? How you spend those minutes, seconds, weeks, hours, whatever you want to call it, seconds, minutes, hours, weeks, days, how you spend that time over the course of a week and how you spend that time over the course of a month is the quality of your life and the people that you love's life. Are you intentional? Are you focused? Are you planned? Are you present where your feet are with those 68 hours? I want you to think about that for a second. Like, take inventory for a second. Think about this week. I don't know what day this is going to launch. Just think about this week. Okay? Or think about the next week if you're planning your week, which I have a whole podcast on planning. It's right here. Okay? The planning podcast. You can click it later. I want you to think about those 68 hours. Did you wake up at the bell right before you had to go to work? You scarfed down a bowl of Lucky Charms, grabbed a glass of OJ. You went on your mobile order on Starbucks and you got yourself a little caramel frap. You picked it up on the way. You ran in. You grabbed it off the counter. You got to the office. You half-assed your day through work. You maybe worked 3 out of the 8 hours that you're working. And then you got off. You went and had a drink with the girls or the boys for 2 hours. And then you get home and you toss and turn and you watch Netflix for another hour and a half. And then you finally fall asleep and wake up and you do it all over again. Does that kind of sound familiar? The reason why it just rolls off the tongue for me is because that was me. I remember doing all of that, and maybe yours are different. Maybe you don't watch Netflix, maybe you watch Hulu, maybe you don't have drinks, you smoke weed, maybe you don't eat Lucky Charms, you're more of a tricks guy or girl. That's fine. But ultimately, a lot of times we get caught up in this rut. We get caught up in this, I call it the autopilot. You just autopilot and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, it's been 6 years. Yeah, that happens. That's because you're not spending the 68 hours that you're allotted, not working and not sleeping the right way. So how do you do it? You are going to think it's nerdy. You're going to think that I'm a weirdo, but you got to be planned. You got to be prepared. You have to make sure that if I'm working, period. I'm not mixing the two. Okay? If you're sleeping, you're sleeping. Right? Unless you're weird and you wake up and you go back to, I don't know. If you're sleeping, you're sleeping. Okay? So I want you to take that same energy or lack thereof, sleeping, and I want you to bring it to work. When you walk through that door, or if you walk through that office door in your house, because it is 2022 at the time of recording, and you're probably working from home, then work your ass off. Focus solely on that. Of course, take breaks, take a mental break, get right back at it. But if you work only when you're at work, you're going to be completely fine, safe, feel secure, and happier than a clam. Some people say pig and shit, Robbie. That's an expression. You'll be happier than a pig and shit when you get off. Why? Because you know that you've done the work. And you can spend your time with your friends, your family, or however you want to spend those 68 hours. And if you take, I don't know, 68 and you divide it by 7, Rob, I'm not that good at math. I think it's somewhere around 8, 9 hours a day that you have to spend with your friends and family and doing what you want, but you decide to go on autopilot and not do the right things. So there's a concept. Everybody has 168 hours in the week. How are you going to choose yours? How are you going to spend your time? Are you going to be planned, prepared, and present with the people that you love? Or are you just going to be on autopilot? That's going to be a decision that you make, because time's going to continue to tick on, whether you like it or not, or whether you take my advice or not. Remember, connect to your work. Have your purpose. Either it's going to find you or you're going to find it. Remember that you're not burnt out. You're just misaligned between your core values and the work that you're doing. Maybe the work's wrong for you, or maybe you haven't found your core values yet. I suggest you do the exercise that I gave you. And, you know, again, last but not least, just to kind of rewind and recap, everybody's a leader and we need leadership more than ever. So love you guys. Can you do me a favor? If you haven't checked out our videos from Leaders Lead, Winners Win previously, or any of our other podcasts, they're right here and right here. Go ahead and click on those, and we'd appreciate you subscribing and sharing. We'll see you next time.
No fucking point in counting. That's for my accountant. He's good at counting. Only thing the crib don't got is a fucking fountain. So I need a fountain. So we so high up that I feel like I live.